Hello Interior, I'm Katherine Ormerod and I'm an author/bricklayer. Welcome to my home. So we've lived in this house, which was actually built in 1890 for 3 years now, 3.5 years actually. For the first 3 years we were renting and we finally managed to buy it at the end of the summer. It's in a gorgeous little area of Chiswick, West London, right down on the river, and it's got everything really. It's got an amazing community, it's incredibly beautiful. There's so much space, and honestly, if I lay my bones to rest here, I will be a happy woman. So this kitchen is probably, when we finally get a bit of money together, the first thing that will go. It's really low and there's not much light, but actually at this time of year, I think you've just got to lean in and make it feel cozy. I've actually gone really dark on all of the surfaces. I rebuilt the whole of the kitchen here, all of these cupboards, everything's vinyl basically that you can see, but I decided to go for this really almost gothic-y dark vibe in here, and I think it works really well. It feels really cocooning. Everyone loves being in the kitchen, don't they? And then I cook a lot. I'll be cooking for Christmas Day, all the traditional things, a massive turkey, all the trimmings. And we really like to do a bit of a French Christmas as well because my mum lives in France. So on Christmas Eve, we do seafood. And then we bring all the traditions from Germany as well, where I was born. We have all of these little Lebkuchen and beautiful biscuits, and it's kind of very European in attitude, our Christmas. So one thing I do really love about this kitchen is this hatch, and it's really nice because when you're cooking, you can put your head through to see everyone through there. And we actually clear it on Christmas Day for the breakfast, and I lay all of the food out on the hatch and then everyone comes buffet style. But I love it even when it's not Christmas as a display opportunity. I've got all my Bordello Pirano cabbages here. Some of them are bought new, some of them are bought from boot sales. It's a mixture, like with everything, and it's such a nice opportunity. I swap things in and out all of the time. This poster, one of my girlfriends went to an Airbnb, sent me a picture of it. I saw it in the background and then I hunted it down. I found it from a shop in Stockholm, brought it here. And then, there are lots of different things. This poster over here, this print was from one of my neighbors. She made that. This one was made for me and my family. And then I found this beautiful Picasso, which really reminded me of it. So I put them together. This was a print from one of my friends, Lucy Mahone. And what's really funny is later I ended up getting married in Palm Springs. So she'd given it to me as a gift and maybe it manifested my future. So this is what we call the breakfast room, but basically it's where we eat through the week. The kids are in here. And this table and chairs are 1950s. They're from a school, reclaimed in somewhere in France. So beautiful. What I love about them is that they're already bash up. So it's just adding more layers of bash up with my own children. And it seems to never hold a stain, no matter what's spilt on it. Paint, pens, food, it just comes right off. It's amazing. As for the Christmassy feel, I'm quite festive all year round, I would say. Obviously got reds and greens in here in different tones. Here's one of my tapestries that I made, again, pulling a beautiful woven blanket and creating that softer sense of sound in here. There's actually a window behind there. And for ages and ages, I was like, I can't cover a window, what do I do? And this room just felt very almost transactional, like you just walked through it. It didn't feel like a space. And you would never think to cover a window. But actually, we didn't get much light from it. We can only see next door's like lean-to from the side. So it ended up being a really positive way to bring the room together. This tiny little room is one of my favorites in the whole house. It was a really municipal looking downstairs bathroom for the elderly gentleman who owned the house before. What I decided to do was stick on these Portuguese-inspired tile stickers. I probably underestimated how long it was going to take me. There are 420 of them. But at the end of it, I'm so happy with the result. It feels so special. And when guests come, they've got a little bit of a surprise. So this is our sitting room where most of life happens in this house. So it's where I've gone probably the hardest with the Christmas spirit. We've gone for a mega tree. This is a 9-footer. My husband tried to go for the 10, maybe next year. We're missing a little topper, but that's coming in the post soon. Everything else has been, really collected over time. All of these different ornaments. This one, my brother handmade from my little boy for the first year that he was born. We've got a few bows from Matilda Goad, and these ones are from 46 Stitch. Here we've got a little Porsche, one of my husband's additions, and then, hand-blown glass here, and then lots of little fun things that I've either picked up or my kids have picked up along the way. And, it really tells a story, I think. That's the most beautiful thing about a Christmas tree, because you unwrap these ornaments and it reminds you of when you picked them up, where you were at Fortnum's, were you abroad, something really, really special about that. So the fireplace, obviously a focal point of every home with children at Christmas. My kids keep asking what's going to happen to Santa when they fall on the spiky grate. I'm like, Santa's got, a lot of experience here. I've handmade all of the stockings for each of the kids and for me and my husband. And again, it's adding that sense of love and sense of, creativity to the whole thing. No one else has got these stockings. No one else's fireplace looks like this. And that makes me feel, really fulfilled and excited as well, because it's something that is so personal and individual. There are so many reasons why I like bringing pre-loved or vintage pieces into the home. Firstly, obviously cost is a factor. I'm always looking to save a buck, and you definitely can when you really, spend time looking and seeking out these pieces. It also means that you can actually buy some pretty regular other bits and mix it in with things that no one has, and it does end up making your house feel very individual and eclectic, rather than it maybe looking like, a bit of a show home. So I always think that it adds that to it. I think vintage is great when you've got kids around, because it's already stood the test of time. So hopefully it can stand the test of 2 young boys too. Also, I think my general aesthetic and attitude, it really leans heavily on imperfection, and that's what I find beautiful. I'm not looking for the most glossy, the most polished. I'm looking for something that feels that it's been touched by a human hand, and you've got that fingerprint. The most anti-AI attitude probably you could have, but I like that. I like it makes me feel cozy and warm and relaxed and not uptight, and that's what I want people to feel like when they come into my home. So here are another couple of pieces of artworks that I really love. This one is by Ali Bassett, and my eldest son, his first name is actually Hector. He goes by his middle name, but these ladies were the protectors of Hector the Protector. That's where it comes from. And I love the idea that my eldest son will inherit this and it will stay with him for his whole life. And then there's this piece here, which honestly feels like me in a painting. It's by Aileen Gayad. And I love it so much. She's a Brazilian artist. And it feels like if you could have taken all of like the outlines of my personal aesthetic and put it all on a canvas, that's exactly what you would have got. So in terms where I most like to entertain, really it's this whole ground floor. What I love about this house is it's double fronted, so you've got this kind of circular motion that goes around the house, and that's something that's quite unusual in London Victorians, especially one like this that's semi-detached. It really means that there's a really nice flow. You can have people in all the different rooms, but in that very opposite way to open plan living, you can kind of get away from people too. So when we're here with my family, you know, you can go and sit and read a magazine or a newspaper in one room, and the kids might be in here and their dad might be in the kitchen, and you all kind of feel like you've got your own space. And that's something that I feel is a huge privilege, and it's something that I love about this house. So here we are in the more formal dining room, and this is where we will be hosting Christmas this year. There are so many pieces I love in this room. This marble table actually got secondhand from auction, really beautiful. We bought each and every one of these Eames chairs individually. Some came from online sites, some came from auctions. At one point, we obviously just had the two. But over time, we built them up, and now we have the full set. I love this sideboard too. It was originally in a shop. One of my girlfriends bought it home, and it wasn't quite right for her house, so I bought it from her. Again, it's that idea of circularity and making sure everything beautiful has a home. And then all of the artworks, I am a big believer that anything can be art, that you can frame anything. It can be from a book or from a poster. It can be a beautiful original piece by a designer or a beautiful original piece by an artist. And then, you know, you mix it all up and it feels so individual and personal. No one else has what you have. And then in this room, we also have these two really big tapestries, which I made. I created the frames for them and then pulled beautiful woven fabrics across them. And what I love about that is it really softens the auditory environment in here. So it makes it a really, really nice place to have your dinner, have your lunch, have a party. I go wild for the tablescape, and I generally handmade lots of things. So for my family this year, I've got my in-laws coming, and I hand painted last year plates for every member of my family. So they'll be going on the table. I love bows, as you can see. And I do 3 or 4 big tablescapes. So there'll be the Christmas Eve, the Christmas morning, the Christmas lunch, and then the Boxing Day table. And I go totally to town. It's so fun and creative. And it's a great way for me to use my time as well when everyone's on top of each other. It's a great excuse. I've got to go and lay the table. Sorry, guys. As you come into the hallway, the first thing you'll see that feels really festive is this banister wreath, which I do every year. And I hang these handmade wallpaper offcut snowflakes that I make just in these concertinaed wheels. And what I love about them is how they reflect the wallpaper behind the William Morris willow boughs here. And yeah, I just made it from offcuts. And this is the 3rd year that I've hung them. So every year I pull them back out. This is my bedroom, and I really love being in here. It's inspired by a holiday that I went on 3 or 4 years ago to Barbados. I'd never been to the Caribbean before, and I just fell in love with the color palette, the pinks with the greens, the palms, that feeling of, you know, being abroad, something a bit exotic, but also very calming and very relaxing to be around. So on the bed, I made this headboard, I made these cushions. What else have I made in here? Not so much. Oh, I made the curtains from some Penny Morrison fabric. And yeah, to really bring that together, I made this wavy framed mirror over here. I made, you know, a few bits and bobs, and then the artwork's in here. This piece is by Motel Bodega, and then there's a beautiful Hester Finch over there that I really love too. And the furniture's beautiful as well. I love, love, love my dressing table here. This was actually from Vinteria, and I really feel it brings a little bit of that Caribbean spirit to me every morning when I'm sat here doing my hair. So here I've got a selection of 12 pieces. This is one of my favorite things to do. Instead of just buying one big piece, you kind of find a synergy between multiple pieces and bring them together. And I think it makes it feel really, again, tailored and bespoke and individual. Again, I love collections of things. I've got a big collection of men coming out of swimming pools, which sounds very dodgy, but think more like, David Hockney. That's what we're talking about. Nothing too saucy. So this is my youngest son's bedroom. I made all of this shelving unit in here because they were just empty. That kind of added a little bit of storage and opportunity to display things. Knitted his name, knitted words. That's a really cute thing that you can do, and he loves that too. I made these curtains. It's from the cloth shop fabric. Really pretty. I love stripes. Crazy about them. You'll see them everywhere in the house. I think they're such a classic. And stripes work with stripes, work with stripes, work with stripes. So that's a really nice classic motif that you can kind of go back to again and again. The feeling in this room, I really wanted it to have a bit of a fairy tale feeling. So you've got these beautiful hanging tapestries. Yeah, I love it. I wanted it to feel soft and not super masculine, but bluish, which was the color that he chose. So yeah, we've gone for this kind of aquamarine color and a yellow tone as well. And it gives a lot of opportunity to play with. When it comes to color, that really is the beginning for me in every room. And I'll think about which art pieces that I want to hang, which wall spaces look like they're, good and the right size and it feels appropriate. And then I'll start to really take the colors from those artworks and work out what kind of palette I'm going to go for each room. And I like to choose 2 or 3 tones for each room. And then, there are sometimes I'm really dedicated to nailing that exact color, but other times it's a bit more loose. Everything kind of just fills in. I see the world through my own lens, as we all do, and I feel pretty confident in my taste these days. So wherever I go, and that can be a high street shop, it can be vintage, it can be a boot sale, it can be something that's a lot more high end, I feel really fortunate to feel confident that I like what I like. But that's something that I've really had to interrogate over the years. It isn't something that I was born with. I've really had to cultivate my taste. One of the ways I've done that is to be really clear on the things that I don't like. So it's really exploring that kind of sensorial response to interiors and then interrogating it and building on it and really, working and cultivating your eye and your taste and your aesthetic approach. It just is not something you wake up with. I think that's a really important thing for people to realize. So I think that's everything. You've been so welcome. I hope you've enjoyed it, and please do come back soon.